Hi, my name is Hitesh and you are watching Metasploit Extreme on Kali Linux. And we are trying to focus on learning this great framework that is known as the Metasploit. So in this video, we are going to have a look on what is this Meterpreter. Now, first of all, it is a kind of a payload. Now, many times in the previous video, you have seen me, I have been using various kinds of exploits and payload. And let's say for an example, I am interested in creating a new user into the victim's computer. I'll simply use Windows add user payload. But that's not going to be a perfect goal for an pen tester or a hacker. He really wants to do much more than the simply adding an account or simply downloading a file. So we need a platform, or simply saying a payload, which can do lots and lots of better thing to us. And Meterpreter, or we can say is Meta-Interpreter, is such one great payload that will solve out your problem. Now, creating individual payloads and for every exploit is not at all possible. So Metasploit is having a great extensible feature that can be used with any, or you can say most of the exploits which are available out there. Now, Metasploit really is an advanced and dynamic extensible payload that uses memory DLL injection, and I have already given you a PDF in previous videos so that you can find out more about what is this actual DLL injection. And the much important thing that I really likes about it, it can be extended over the network during the runtime. So you do not need to create any extra processor or anything, and it actually works on the server and client platform. A really way beyond the extensive usage is there, but the basic principle out there is server and client communication. The server portion is implemented in the plain C, but it is being taken care that it should be highly extensible and can be used on any platform. The client side although can be written in various languages, but really Metasploit prefers everything to be in Ruby, and you will find Ruby will be much more powerful as compared to other language if you are writing on this particular platform. Also, we need to understand how is Metasploit is being working out. Now there are very simple and 4 steps which will explain you how actually the Meterpreter works. Now Meterpreter is really a different kind of payload, or very advanced one. So I hope you still remember what was the class and different types of payload like stagers and stages and all. So Metasploit is the most advanced one. The very first step is actually the target executes the initial stagers. So a stager is being sent over the target machine, which is usually like bind shell or reverse TCP, which first get executes there. Once it get executes, the stager, the next payload type of payload, actually loads a DLL with a reflective type of things. Now this reflective stuffs handles the injection in the DLL memory itself. Now once this is being performed, the Meterpreter cores get initialized. Now the very important thing about the Meterpreter, it works on the TLS based socket connection. Now once a GET request is being implemented, really things get very simple, and Metasploit receives a GET request that hey, I want to connect the more extensive usage of the Metasploit. Now what is this? First of all, TLS based connection. Now go on the Google Wikipedia and find out the TLS based connection, because it's not at all a networking class, so that I can explain you what is the TLS, and it will consume one of my video to actually explain you what is this TLS. So better option is out there to go on the Wikipedia and find out yourself what is this TLS connection. Apart from that, lastly, the Meterpreter loads an extension. Now these extensions, first of all, what are these extensions? Now there are some features you will find which are lacking in the Meterpreter, but Meterpreter gives you a very good option that says you can load your functionality or features after loading the entire Meterpreter. So some of them are like STD API or priv extension. Some of them allow you to capture the screenshot of the victim's computer or capture the hash dumps out there. We will have a look on these things in later videos by a practical, but really it's important to understand the theoretical concept first, that how the things are working. Now after that, what are the design goals which have been kept in mind while designing the Metasploit itself? The very first important feature that I like is this stealthy mode. Now Meterpreter actually resides entirely into the memory, and it writes nothing on the disk. So for example, an investigator or forensic experts, when checkouts everything on the victim's computer, he is going to find nothing on the basis of Meterpreter injection or how the computer was being compromised. Also, no new processes are being created in the Meterpreter itself. because a new process might alarm your antivirus or your firewalls or something like that. So no new process you will find out there in your computer. And it can also migrate from one process to another. Now one process is having an administrative purpose and another is not having administrative privileges, so you can simply migrate from one process to another to have different kind of privileges. Apart from that, what we have got is, by default, the Meterpreter also uses encrypted communication. That means simply one cannot steal hackers from a hacker. Simply that's really a good advantage out there for the Meterpreter. And the Meterpreter design goals are really on focusing on the powerful itself. Now it uses a channelized communication. It doesn't really consume any of your process or doesn't create any socket connection or anything like that. It uses simply a channel communication, which makes it much more powerful. Now Meterpreter design goals also have got one great feature, that is extensible. Now suppose you are a programmer good enough in the Ruby and you find yourself in a trouble that this feature is not out there in the Meterpreter. So what you can do, simply you can use your programming skills to write down new extensible, new add-ons or somewhat like that. So Meterpreter can actually add more features, and that too at a runtime. It will give you things which are very much important out there, and you can simply write like IRB shell, that is interactive Ruby shell. So Meterpreter can give you the IRB shell on which you can write out anything that you want, of course in the programming. Now adding runtime feature, again the same thing. Now it loads up a client DLL. The client uploads the DLL over the socket. The server running on the victim loads the DLL in memory and initialize it, and after that the new extension registers itself with the server. The client on the attacker machine loads the DLL extension API and can now call the extension functions. Now this is really a great feature because you are not alarming your antivirus, you are not alarming any firewall, you don't require any extra privileges to load up your runtime features which you are going to create by coding in the Ruby or something like that. So now these are the very important features by which Meterpreter is getting very much popularity out there. And really I would appreciate if you'll find out yourself great with the hand in the Meterpreter, and in the next video we are going to have some of the live scenarios out there which can be utilized by Meterpreter. So this was all about the theoretical stuff, and hope it got pretty much clear in your mind what we are actually going to do and why this Meterpreter is so much powerful. And in the next video things will get crystal clear that how is Meterpreter being used and utilized. So if you haven't got much from this video, no need to worry about, because next video will clear up everything just like crystal. So thank you so much for watching and keep enjoying this series.